Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnotherapy session all about medical tests. And I would say a fear or anxiety linked to medical tests is actually quite common. And it normally comes about because of an earlier experience of having some kind of medical test, maybe a doctor's appointment, maybe a routine checkup. And then in that moment, suddenly there's a surge of anxiety. And then that makes it feel like that thing is now caused and linked to the anxiety. And then all the thoughts and coping strategies simply increase that. And in many cases, it's a case of 1 + 1 = 3, where actually it's a false positive that the medical test might actually show something not quite right, not because there's anything wrong with that individual, but because of the anxiety they're feeling in that moment. And then it feels like it's a vicious cycle where the anxiety leads to false readings, the false leadings leads to concerned medical practitioners, which then requires more tests, which create more anxiety. So how do you break this cycle? Well, for most people, there was a time when they didn't feel that way, or there's a different area of their life where they feel resourceful of different types of tests. That might be academic tests or routine things that are not medically related. So clearly the neural pathways exist to feel resourceful in situations where there is some kind of an evaluation taking place. What this hypnosis session does is it does two things. One, it uses double levels, so stage disassociation with multiple levels. And there's actually 3 levels of stage disassociation in this hypnosis session. So they get to be an observer of themselves doing it in a resourceful way and then stepping into that resourceful feeling, but then also treating a blood pressure test, which was the issue of the particular client I was working with, a home kit version of that as a way to, rather than see it as the threat, you can actually see it as the measure of success. It becomes the canary in the coal mine to evaluate breakthroughs and progress. And then there's future pacing where they get to see themselves years from now where these medical tests have just become boring and mundane. So if you have these kind of medical related anxieties, I think you'll get some value from this session. But if you like the idea of something a bit more tailored and targeted and bespoke for you, there will be a link in the description where you can schedule either a free consultation call to explore working with me or a suitability test just to figure out if hypnotherapy is right for you and if you're right for hypnotherapy. So check out the description to look for those links. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in that relaxing, resourceful feeling of calm, and as you exhale, feel a wonderful sense of release. Releasing any tension, stress, and worries, just feel how good it would feel to allow it to leave your body in your outward breath. And on the next inward breath, breathe in deeper than you normally would. And as you exhale, allow your eyelids to close and feel a ripple of relaxation from your eyelids down into your jaw, neck and shoulders. And as you breathe in, allow yourself to not just breathe in deeper, but every now and then hold the inward breath. And as you release and exhale slowly, set the intention to release tension, hesitation, and any fears and worries. And every outward breath enables your body to settle, to relax, to drift into comfort. That's it. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And as you notice the rhythm of your breathing slowing, becoming deeper and calmer, you notice this wonderful cycle. Relaxation deepens the breath, and the deeper you breathe, the deeper relaxed you become. And I want you to imagine with every outward breath, it feels like you're releasing resistance. And with each inward breath, you're breathing in a feeling of courage, calm, and resourcefulness. And maybe that resourcefulness is defiance or tenacity, or maybe something else. But just get a sense of breathing in and breathing out, and feeling a wonderful sense of letting go. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine your own private cinema. And I want you to imagine that as you sit there in the chair, the comfiest chair of the cinema, and you look up at the screen, I want you to imagine a beautiful house. And I want you to imagine the top floor of that beautiful house. And I want you to imagine on the screen you're seeing an ornate staircase, perhaps spiral or made of marble. And I want you to see yourself on that screen at the top of the staircase. And then use the power of your imagination to imagine floating into the screen and stepping into that version of you that is looking down at the staircase. And the more details you notice of the staircase, the more powerful the descent into the deeper parts of your subconscious mind will become. So imagine breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension, and then looking down at the staircase. And I want you to imagine that as I count down from 10 to 1, you will imagine walking down the staircase, and each step takes you deeper into relaxation, deeper into calm, deeper into the depths of your subconscious mind. And somewhere in your subconscious mind is a part of you that remembers how to feel resourceful in certain situations. And that part we will reawaken. So imagine now 10 taking the first step and just noticing how easy it is to let go. Each step takes you deeper relaxed. 9, a wave of warmth and relaxation rippling to every cell in your body. And then 8, deeper now, deeper into comfort, deeper with every exhale. And then 7, any thoughts begin to quiet. Inner dialogue, turn the volume down. And 6, those old fears, those old tensions, feel them melting away. And then 5, halfway down that impressive staircase, already feeling more and more relaxed than perhaps you have in a long time. And then 4, a growing sense of detachment from the past. In particular, detaching from any anxious or painful moments. And then 3, lighter, calmer, more grounded while also feeling heavy and light at exactly the same time. And then 2, drifting to the bottom. And 1, that's it, stepping onto one floor beneath. And consider this place a place of total peace and empowerment. A place where we can reawaken a part of you that knows how to be confident and calm and resourceful. And I wonder if there on that floor is another screen, not a cinema screen, but a large TV screen. And I want you to imagine seeing yourself on that screen in the kind of environment that used to be difficult. And maybe it's a clinic or a hospital or a waiting room. Imagine perhaps that version of you is having a test, maybe a blood test or a blood pressure test. But I want you to see that new version of you on that screen, looking calm, relaxed, and nonchalant, as if nothing is bothering you at all. Notice how you look in that screen on this lower floor. Everything is so neutral, you almost have an expression of boredom. That's how unthreatening and mundane this thing has become. And everything in this scene feels safe. No threats here. Just see yourself as a passive participant, completely in control. And you're not in control of the things outside of you, but you seem in control of your emotions. Consider this a place where your body is monitored so that your mind can master, where feedback is data and not danger. And any tests are nothing more than just readings, signposts pointing towards progress. And then I want you to see yourself there on that screen, testing yourself. But now imagine yourself in your own home. See yourself putting a blood pressure monitor around your arm, inflating it. But that version of you sees this not as a threat, but a tool, a feedback device. That version of you considers this the canary in the coal mine. And interestingly, not to actually measure blood pressure, but to notice your progress, where the blood pressure monitor begins to show your actual blood pressure and not blood pressure plus historical anxiety. I want you to get a sense that that version of you is defiant, tenacious, is willing to keep taking tests until it has no emotional impact on you at all. This defiant version of you is destined for desensitization. I want you to see yourself on that screen, taking a calm, stable reading and doing whatever it takes to make that true. And whether that's the first attempt or the fifth attempt makes no difference. See yourself taking as long as you need until you can take a reading that shows your actual blood pressure. I want you to see a victory. You are calm and stoic and pragmatic. In this version of you, nothing phases you. You are full of defiance. What once had you retreating now brings out the most tenacious, determined, resolute version of you. I want you to see that version of you sees every test, whether in your home or a clinic or a hospital, as an opportunity to step into a new identity, a version of you where any anxiety related to medical tests, that's in the past now. So you're seeing a version of you that has already overcome this issue. So see that version of you at home, looking relaxed and peaceful, and see as you take your blood pressure, you're smiling. And that version of you smiles because you know exactly what you're doing. It's more about rewiring your brain than it is about measuring your blood pressure, because you are training it, reconditioning it. And those old associations are being replaced. That version of you has relaxing music in the background when you take that blood pressure test. You're wearing comfortable clothes. You're feeling relaxed. And every test you do at home is a battle of choice. Do you stay the version of you that you were, or step into the version of you you were always meant to be? I want you to think of some things like a splinter. You remember that time when you had a bit of wood beneath your skin. If you left it, perhaps it would get infected. It would have that pain going on for days, if not weeks. But I want you to think of a time when you removed the splinter, that it was temporarily more painful, only for the pain to disappear completely. And I want you to consider any kind of medical tests or appointments like that splinter, that it might be temporary emotional pain to overcome it so it never needs to come back. Because deep down you already know Your unconscious mind already knows that all those times before were false positives, false readings, because of the associations and the connotations. But now you see yourself doing something that is safe and easy, and you keep doing the tests until they become mundane and boring, until it's effortless, emotionally neutral. And when you see that version of you, step into that screen, and now you're in your own home, taking your own blood pressure, and imagine doing it again and again and again until it is mundane and neutral and boring, until the only thing that the blood pressure monitor shows is your blood pressure. Not anxiety, not stress, not panic, only blood pressure. And when it does, well, then you're ready. You're ready to do it again and again until the first attempt shows the blood pressure reading when you're calm and relaxed and pragmatic, knowing that if you can do it like that in your home, then you can also do it like that in a clinic or a hospital, because generalizations work both ways. Before, the generalization was working against you, and now it will work for you. You will believe that because you can do it fine at home, you can deal with any medical-related test or appointment with that cool, calm confidence. What becomes effortless in the home becomes effortless anywhere else. Consider this a mission. Not just to lower the number, but to reclaim an identity. Because that nurse a long time ago took your real identity, and it's time to take it back. And when you claim that victory over irrational fear, victory over those past associations and connotations, victory over 1 + 1 = 3, well, then you're free. Free to reclaim an identity that just doesn't think that much about it. And then imagine going forwards in time in your own body, walking into a clinic feeling relaxed, registering at the desk and then waiting, feeling relaxed, and then going in and having some kind of test or appointment, feeling relaxed. Breathe the way you would breathe, feeling relaxed. Feel the way you would feel, feeling relaxed. They will do whatever they need to do, and it matters not to you. In fact, you could even smile, knowing that anxiety just doesn't live in this new identity anymore. Hospitals are just buildings. Clinics are just locations. Tests are just sensors that show results. And the people in white coats, well, because you are the client, not the patient, they work for you. You are the calm one, the defiant one, the pragmatic one. I want you to imagine it 2 or 3 years from now. A routine test. Imagine this is perhaps the 20th time you've needed to go to a clinic or a hospital for something mundane, and it just doesn't faze you anymore. And you can smile to yourself knowing that there was a time that this would have freaked you out, and it just doesn't anymore. Because you've transformed it, transmuted it. And from now on, any test, blood pressure, blood, dental exams, anything at all, you will be reminded of how far you've come, that your mind has reprogrammed itself, that your body has recalibrated, and your past is no longer welcome in this new version of you. And you are just a few tests away from the stepping stone towards this rekindled identity. And you will look forward to doing whatever needs to be done to activate that calm, pragmatic version of you, that defiant version of you. So imagine leaving that second screen back into that floor until you find a staircase. And imagine walking up that staircase, getting back to the top floor, and then seeing what looks like a cinema behind a large window. And as you go through the window, you're coming back through the screen, back to the cinema, seeing the very staircase you just walked up. But even the cinema is just within your imagination. A thought within a thought, an idea within an idea, a dream within a dream. And it's time to return all the way back to the here and now, taking these wonderful changes with you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate fully into the here and the now. All normal sensations returning to your arms and your legs, returning back fully in the present. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.